National Security Prosecutor Joseph Moreno. All right, let's talk first about the comments that we've heard from Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. I mean, it just stuck out to me. She could have been even harsher on Mitch McConnell, but she still did say she was disturbed by what he said about coordinating with the White House. And you can't really overstate how significant it is for her to say that. But is that an indication of a crack? Is that an indication of other senators who might feel the same way, or is this just one person?
I mean, it is one person now. I think disturbed is a very strong word that she used, actually. And I think that this is the concern for Mitch McConnell. If you move too far towards the president, you could lose those 4 votes. And that's important for the group. Of course, to remove a president, you need more than just that, far more than that. So I think that it's interesting that she said that. I think it probably will have an effect on how McConnell and the leadership moves forward. Do I think it's indicative of some swell to remove the president among the Republican caucus? No.
She really took aim at House Democrats, too, right? She had criticism for both sides here, but she must have known when she said this about Mitch McConnell, this was going to be the headline.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the flip side, you talk about the Dear Colleague letter from Nancy Pelosi, and she says, we're waiting to see the rules under which we will proceed. But of course, the House has no role moving forward. And so Nancy Pelosi has no say in the Senate rules of how they'll proceed. And so, Lisa Murkowski may be feeling what all of us are feeling this Christmas, that both sides at this point are playing games with this.
Yeah, the speaker's clearly trying to have a role, at least in the court of public opinion, if she doesn't have an actual role, Joe. But earlier I interviewed Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. She's a Democrat from Michigan, of course, and I asked her if she was concerned that Speaker Pelosi hasn't sent over the articles of impeachment. This is what she said.
When a group of veteran members really were worried about what was going to happen to our national security, that became a tipping point. She knows what she's doing. She wants to make sure that there's a fair trial in the Senate. She's doing what she needs to do. And I have the most confidence in her that she will do what's right for this country. And I know the Speaker, that is the number one thing she does, is protect our democracy and our Constitution.
No doubt the Speaker has a pretty good finger on the pulse of her caucus, but there are a lot of Democrats who wish those articles were already over in the Senate. They want to hot potato this over there, Joe.
Yeah, look, it's a risky tactic. I get what she's doing. She's keeping the president off his game, right? I've heard President Trump described as an asymmetrical warrior, and the only person that can match him is Speaker Pelosi. So she's taking it away from him. I want to be impeached. I don't want to be impeached. I want the articles. I don't want the articles. However, she can play this too far, and I think that she will find other Democrats to say, hey, look, we went back to our constituents and we voted for this in part because we said it was urgent. We had to get this done. We can't sit on this indefinitely. So my prediction, you will see these articles delivered in short order, weeks, not months.
I wonder for both of you if you have an opinion on the managers, because this is part of what the House does. They pick these managers, Republicans and Democrats. They both get to pick them and send them over to the Senate trial. Any idea of who you think is a natural fit for that?
I think we have a better idea on the Republican side of who would be a natural fit for that. The sort of crew that has already existed, Gates, Meadows, who's announced he's retiring, Jordan. I'll be shocked if they don't sort of, if not be the managers themselves, have a great deal of say over it. They talk to the president a great deal. And so I'm sure they're in contact and figuring that out.
What do you think?
I'll give my unsolicited advice, right?
Yes, give it.
Basically,
you give good advice, Joe.
Just because someone's a good member of Congress does not mean they'll necessarily be a good trial lawyer. So I think you want managers that can not only give good speeches, but understand the case, understand the rules, can think on their feet. And if witnesses are ultimately called, you want someone who can direct and cross-examine a witness. It's not an easy skill to master. So I think you want to think less grandstanding, more practical skills.
I think that is fabulous advice and hard to find in Congress.
A lawyer? So few lawyers in Congress.
A good lawyer.
The qualities that he described, sure. Okay, so the Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader and the Senate Minority Leader, are deadlocked right now over basically what the ground rules are going to be for this impeachment trial in the Senate. And it appears, according to sources, the McConnell's ready to maybe just go this alone without Schumer. Is that problematic for Republicans, do you think, Sarah?
I doubt it. We saw some of this play out on the House side as well. Republicans had various gripes about the process on the articles of impeachment, and Nancy Pelosi and really the committee moved forward without that. The Senate side is different because it's a trial, and the Senate in general has been more collegial and tried to work across the aisle. I think, though, the precedent that has been set by judicial nominations could just bleed right on over into this process where you try to compromise for a little while. If it doesn't work, you toss it in the air and it moves forward in a very partisan basis. And I don't think it's worked well for judicial nominations for either side, frankly. And so I am concerned about that for the impeachment trial.
I mean, Sarah's right. I mean, this is a guy who basically, destroyed a Supreme Court nomination. He sat on it until it died in the case of Merrick Garland. So I think he has no compunctions about going this alone. I think I take Leader McConnell at his word. He would like a compromise, but if push comes to shove, he will move forward with the bare majority that he needs to get this thing going.
You guys, thank you so much. Happy holidays. Sarah Isgur, Joe Moreno. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.